Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hi, this is Chip Snuff from Enough Snuff, and you're listening to the Ages of Rock podcast with three jagoffs. Turn it up!
All right, folks, we're back. This is episode number 139, and we have five-time guest Mitch Lafon. How are you doing, Mitch?
Good. It's interesting that I went from Paul Stanley to Slash to Alice Cooper to this. This is wow.
You don't have to work now. We're going to do.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Right.
That's all we got to say.
You're going to do all the heavy lifting. I'm just going to sit here and provide smart alecky.
All I've got to say to that is welcome to the slum.
I know. I didn't pay the rent.
Yeah. Welcome to the show.
But thank you.
That's
Yes. Fun
it's
to
great
be
having
here.
you. Yeah, it's good. It's good having you on again, man. It's cool. We do this a couple times a year, so that's worked out pretty well. So yeah, we're working on a jacket because like the old SNL, the new SNL I wouldn't know because I don't watch it anymore because it's turned into just one political show and I can't stand that shit. So
That's like the John Oliver show. It went from
stuff.
Comedy to just this diatribe of nonsense. But it's great talking with the three. Well, with the two of you and Dennis. It's fun.
Thank you.
this is why you're here.
That's right. I'm noticed. I'm like going, I have a guy from Westwood One saying, Dennis.
That's right.
Like that. Yeah. That's awesome. And
Like
how are
the
things
judge
with
said
Westwood
last
One?
week.
And how are things with Westwood One? You doing great?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I can't complain. The show's doing well. It gets great visibility. The booking of guests becomes easier. It's strange because when you said, and I would say podcast one, as soon as people heard the word podcast, they went, but you say Westwood One, and it's the same product in a sense. Not that I want to get myself in trouble, but it's a great brand. It's an incredible brand association to say Westwood One. People love that. The NFL's on there, NASCAR's on there. Great shows with Jericho and stuff. No, it's great. I mean, listen, for years I had tried to get Richie Sambora on the show, and I had said I work for this magazine and that magazine, and I do this show and that show. And I was like, I said, hey, would you like to come on for Westwood One? And literally, they got me on with him the next day. I mean, it was a Monday, and on Tuesday I was on the phone with him after having tried for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
That's the power of the brand.
Wow. We need to figure out how to.
We need
on,
to make our podcast
West
called
Point.
Westwood One Ages of Rock. We just add those words to it.
Yeah, there's probably some
Yeah, that ain't
copyright
no
things there. That,
would be
Probably some lawyers that won't be
some
happy.
lawyers. Yeah.
Big old trademark lawyers come stomping on our foreheads.
yeah, Dennis Talbot, TALBOTT.
There you go. You got it right though. 2 T's. Nobody gets that right.
Oh, I'm getting that shit right. I don't want to misspelling your name, pal. Not for that.
We're glad to have you
On the
on. though.
affidavit, no.
That's exactly
We're
right.
glad to have you back on. Like I said, Mitch, like I said, we've had you on for years. Ever since we started. Every couple, we don't ever get like the peak. The 100 or the 50 or just your nod when we have on.
I'm the asymmetrical guy, which that works for me though.
That works fine. So anyway, we do we like to talk about, well, of course, Kiss, our favorite band that we all love.
Mhm.
So and we got other things to talk about, but okay, the end of the road. Here we are, and you just interviewed Paul Stanley.
Yeah, that is great, and I'm ready for the end of the road. I don't think, especially if you listen to the Paul Stanley interview, that it is the end of everything. I think they do leave room open for, if the Super Bowl calls, we'll go do a halftime, or if there's a charity event, they'll go. But I think like everybody else, touring gets to be a little hard and it's a little tedious, and I think they've quite earned the ability to just sort of sit back and pick and choose as they want. So anyway, it was great talking to Paul. I was obviously flabbergasted, or what, maybe that's not the right word, but I had interviewed Gene, I had interviewed Paul and Ace and Vinny and Bruce and all these people, Anton Fig and Bob, who all played on the album. And Paul was the last one, and I had just, how can I put this? I had gotten to the point where I had acceptance, in the stages of grief. I was like, all right, there's denial. Sure, it's going to happen. And it was annoying. How could it not happen? And then there was like, all right, this is never going to happen. And then back in August, I wrote Doc McGee and I said, hey, is Kiss talking? And they said, well, the stuff that's going to be announced soon, we'll just hold on, get back to us in the fall. And I got back in the fall and I thought, okay, well, they said yes. Now here comes the great Eric Singer interview or the great Tommy Thayer interview. And then they wrote an email and said, can you do Paul tomorrow? And it's like, oh, yeah, I can do that.
Let's see.
I'll work him in there somehow.
And it was great because, I have all kinds of other stuff going on in the day between taking care of the kids and this and that. And they said, can you do it like at 4:30 or 5:30? And that's like the 1 hour in the day where I got nothing going on. That's that one block where if you want to talk to me, 4:30 is it. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I don't have to cancel anything. I don't have to rearrange anything. And, and I told this story, I think on air or before, but at about 4:34, the call hadn't come in. And I was like, here we go. It's not going to happen. And then it came in and I was like, oh. Wow, look at that. And there he was. It was great. It was great. And I guess I've mentioned it on Facebook, but over the years, I had tried to get Paul on the line back in 80 when I interviewed Gene when I was 11. It was supposed to be Paul, and then he got swapped out for Gene. Listen, not complaining, but it was supposed to be Paul. And then in the Hot in the Shade time, backstage at the Montreal Forum, it was supposed to be Paul. And he had broken his ribs or hurt his ribs or whatever. And they said he can't come out and talk. He's got to save himself for the show. And it was like, and then somewhere around whatever the World Domination Tour or the 2004 tour, there was going to be another one. I did all the legwork, got it all set up. And then this guy named Martin Popov over at Brave Words magazine that I was working for, senior editor, said, I'm going to take that interview. And it's like, you motherfucker. and he literally just took it out from under my feet. I mean, I had done everything. I'd done all the emailing, all the phone contacts, got all the time booked, and he swooped in like a bastard and took it from me. And then after that, yeah. And I'm just
will.
Yeah, and I only speak like this on this show. I'm very nice everywhere else.
You are,
but I didn't have any opportunities when the solo album came out. For some reason, it didn't work out, and other Kiss tours, it didn't work out. I don't know why, but it did now. And 7 Kiss members, if you include Eric Carr, and not if you include that, you know what I mean. But right. I interviewed all of them. I got to meet Eric and I got to meet Mark St. John. I didn't interview them, but I have had conversation with everybody who was on stage with Kiss at some point. And so it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? There's nothing left. I retire, So, no, it was great.
You could always have Slash or Alice Cooper or
all these other great people.
A couple other people on the show that are just phenomenal too.
But even though those times,
right? Yeah. I got Paul Stanley the week after I have Slash on. The weekend after I go meet Alice Cooper in Syracuse, and then I have him on my show, so that'll be coming up. And then I've got Aldo Nova, and just an incredible amount of great guests. I mean, I'm blessed, I guess. There's a certain amount of skill involved and a certain amount of luck, I would think. So, good stuff.
So even, like I said, those other opportunities that you had to talk to Paul, are you glad now that it happened to this time? Are you glad that it happened this time than maybe some of the other times and not got this one? I mean,
no, obviously I would have liked to have done. Oh, you know what? I do want to say one thing about Paul. There was a chance a couple of years ago, and I forget what tour it was. Forget what tour it was, but 2 or 3. I was on a conference call with Paul, and he did a half-hour interview, and we all waited in line, and you would get one question if he had time, and I never got the one question, but I do have that entire interview on tape. It's interesting to see the process because everybody, it would be like, hey, it's Bill from Indiana. Paul, tell me about, and everybody from different markets got these
Right.
one questions in, and of course they just pulled out what they wanted. So it's interesting to have that entire unedited audio of that interview, because that's how, and that's not just KISS. A lot of the markets and a lot of big name artists will do one interview with 18 people on the line or 30 people on the line, and you may or may not get a question in for your market. And anyway, so I did sit in on a Paul Stanley interview.
So how does that work though? Do you own what was on that because you were in on that call? Can you produce that recording or not?
Yes, no. You can pull out quotes from it. So, there was a lot of generic questions like, "Hey, Paul, tell us about the upcoming tour." And I'm trying to think when it was. I can check in my iTunes. I think it was from like 2012 or 2013. So you can pull that stuff out,
Right.
but you can't use the other people.
So
if it says, "Hey, it's Bill from KXXX whatever in Wisconsin," you have to pull that part out, and you can cut yourself in.
I was going to suggest that you do that yourself.
Hey, there's these guys in Canada that do that with other bands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you could do that.
You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So sorry. Alan's got it. Bill's just kind of sitting back. But anyway,
I didn't get it.
You can make that your interview, but I'm not saying that it's nice to do that.
Oh,
anyway.
I got it now.
There he goes.
Tell you what, though, back in the days of print media, when I was doing the Brave Word stuff in the 2000, this was Phil Collins, Bon Jovi, and all that. They would send you a CD with a list of questions and then just the answers. And so what the radio stations would do is they would look at the one sheet and go, "So, John, tell me about the thing." And then you just hit track 1 and you would have the answer.
Wow.
And you could produce your. So I ended up doing one of those with Bon Jovi, with John and Richie, but I was doing it for print. So I took all the questions and I transcribed their answers from the CD, and that became the interview. So out there in the world, there was a Mitch talking to John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora interview, but it of course was totally fake. And any interview that was done in that era on all these different radio stations all had the same answers. But that wasn't me trying to cheat. That was just what it was. And I have a lot of those CDs in my collections, which are interview CDs that were meant for radio stations to go have the local guy come on and go, "Hey, John, thanks for calling in today." And then you go track 1 and we go, "Hey, it's my pleasure to call in. I've always loved your city." And I have a whole library of those, record company pseudo fakey interviews. And that was an industry standard. It was not, Mitch cheating or.
Yeah. Well, they sent tapes to radio stations, like I said, for a long time that they would do, like on Christmas time or like holidays and stuff like that. They would send a tape out, and the DJ of whoever it was at that point
local guy
and
his spot. Yeah.
He had he would just get a free interview, but they weren't there. They
weren't there. And it's funny because especially as people started traveling and internet started getting, they'd be like, "Hey, I was just in Los Angeles and he said the exact same thing." And you're like, "Yeah, don't know how that happened."
Today that couldn't happen.
Right, because now they'd spot it right away and they go, "Fuckers, they're cheating." Anyway.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Fake news. Well, listen, it really was in a sense fake news because your local guy would cut himself in being all cool, like, "I'm talking to Phil Collins today." It's like, yeah, no,
you're not.
Track 1. Yeah. Those hidden things out there. Anyway, so yeah, that was anyway. So I did sit in on a call with Paul once, but
So what questions did you have on your list that you weren't able to ask him, or didn't have time to ask him? Because I know, I mean, I listened to it. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
And you said that there was none that you could ask. So I mean, but
yeah, I wasn't given any restrictions, which is absolutely fantastic. Because I've done 2 interviews this month alone with bands that started in the 80s, and I was told, "Don't ask about this guy," and then I was told, "Don't ask about the band he used to be in," which is always strange because I'm always wondering, who do you think you're kidding? Like, so I'm going to run an interview with a guy the other day, within the next day, and we talk about solo albums, we talk about this, and there's no questions about the band that he was in. And I'm assuming fans don't go, oh, well, how stupid is Mitch that he didn't ask about? They must be like, oh, he doesn't want. Like, who are you kidding? Obviously, we know that you were in that band, and obviously, we know that you were. It's weird when they do that. You know, one of them was like, don't ask about the former lead singer. Well, okay, but why? Like, you know.
Yeah, we've had one situation. We've only had one thing,
one question, and it was something that we agreed with. It's like we wouldn't even brought it up. So
yeah, it was a situation that when we got that artist, when he said yes, we were like, we all three, I think, texted each other at the same time and went, this is not on the plate for a question.
Right. And the whole point was we're not a people that try to get somebody to to spark something, or trying to get somebody to say something weird. We're just glad to have them on and talk about stuff. And this was a subject that we knew not to talk about, so it was no big deal. So
no talking about the hookers. No, but some fans, by the way,
if you have Chips enough on the show, he's talking about hookers. Trust me.
It's funny because some fans get upset though when you play along with the game or play along with the rules, but they don't seem to understand that one publicist doesn't just deal with one artist. They usually have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, and if you screw one over and the artists do text them back and say Mitch was good or you're not getting that other interview, and if that goes on enough, you're not having a show anymore. So you get fans go, oh, you should have done this, oh, it's rock and roll, it's the punk attitude to freedom of speech. Like, that's why I have a show and you don't. I mean, not to sound arrogant, but you sort of got to know how to play the game. And I think if you look at like me or Eddie Trunk or Chris Jericho, we know how to play the game enough to stay in it, but we also know how to sort of bend it enough to make it interesting. So, but you can't anyway. As far as Paul, there was absolutely no conditions. I did have a sense of if I start digging too much in certain areas, it might be uncomfortable or it might want to. I just figured, you know what? Let's just go where it goes. In 45 years, I had 40 minutes, or I ended up with 40 minutes. I had 20 minutes. I knew going in that I didn't have the time to talk about. Tell me about who played cowbell on the Hotter Than Hell album. You don't have time for that.
Right.
And again, and I'll say this to fans, you also have to remember they're on the phone with you because they're promoting something. They're not on the phone with you because they're your best friend. So you obviously have to start with the new album, the new tour, the new single, the new book, the new video, and if whoever's on the phone talks 20 minutes about that, well, tough luck. That's the way it goes.
That's what you get. I mean, that's what you get for being an interviewer. I mean, that's the whole point.
And the great thing about Paul in particular is we did that right up front, tell us about the End of the Road tour and so on and so forth. But then he gave me 35 minutes of not that. And he had no obligation to do that, as does, Al DeNova or Alice Cooper, or whoever I get on the phone. They have no obligation past, here's my new album, here's my new tour. Anything else is just gravy on top, and you got to thank him for it. And the one question I did want to talk a little bit about Eric Carr, because we've heard all kinds of stories and stuff like that. But I think I approached it in a way that was respectful. And honestly, I don't want to say his answer was shocking, because shocking sort of suggests that I'm on the floor going, oh my God. But I think he did answer it in a way that I haven't heard him answer it before. And I was like, oh. And it sort of made sense when he said, you know what? I didn't expect him to die. And I think we've all been in this situation where, whether it's a rainstorm or a snowstorm or a family member, where it happens and you just on the spot, you're like, and then 10 years later you go, oh, I should have said this. I should have done that. I should have parked. And I can understand that when and how old were they at the time in 89, 90, what, 35?
Well, they would have been 35, 35, something like that.
Well, you're in a rock band. You're a superhero. You're indestructible. Whenever you walk into a building, people they fall to your feet, and then to say somebody's going to die. Well, I can understand him going, what, and we've all been in a situation like that, and whether we want to say he acted poorly or not poorly, we can't judge that. But I think it was very revealing when he said, "I didn't expect him to die," and so some of the decisions that were made were not made with, "Oh, this guy is going to be dead next week," and it made me understand better what their position was at the time. So I'm happy with that question. I'm happy with.
And then being in too, I mean, this just as a personal situation, it's not like you got a brain injury or you've got a heart situation. You got cancer. Cancer doesn't decide a date. I mean, it just happens. And it's one of those things where you don't know how far along it was, how far it spread, or what have you. It could have been years, or it could have been days. We don't know about that.
Yeah, and we don't know.
And like you said, exactly. And it's one of those things where I agree with that. When you're 35 years old or still that, when you think you're indestructible, and they're like going, well, he's in a hospital and he's a rock star. They're going to take care of him. They're going to fix it. So. I can see that. I actually can. So
I was very grateful for that answer, because I almost thought that was the place where he was just going to hang up on me and say, ugh, but he didn't, and I have a lot of respect for that.
That's really cool.
Because I think a lot of fans were curious about that. So and as far as questions go, I really didn't. I never write down questions. I've said this before. I work with sort of this arc that's in my head where I'll start here and I'll finish here, and I sort of have that figured out in my head. And then I listen to what the artist is saying and go with it. But with Paul, I figured, listen, if he gives me one-word answers, I've got 40 years of questions. So,
yeah. Guess what? Yes, no, yes, no, 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 yes, no, yes, no. No.
And so I didn't need to have all kinds of research and all kinds of preparation. I mean, I lived 40 years of KISS. I had 40 years of preparation. So I think the questions went great. I think the fact that he said that he's essentially going to retire to painting and that'll be his art going forward, I thought that was shocking. I thought for sure that it was going to be, a slew of solo albums with all kinds of guests and doing, Soul Station or some kind of new.
I think he knows. I think he knows where he's at. Going to finish this up and then and like I said, he's great. His paintings are going over well. Do with what you do best.
Yeah, so. And why not? Why not be able to just walk away and say, anyway, it was a great chat. There was nothing in there that I found offensive or disappointing. And I'm glad that he has the art to go to, and fans love it. He said, "Hey, $10 million. None of us have sold anything worth $10 million,
or bought anything worth it." But that's I think his point on there, because he talked about that at this point in his career, there's life other than KISS, and I think that for so many years that wasn't the case, and you can tell that. I mean, you can tell that when you follow him. It's kind of cool to follow him on Twitter or whatever and see some of the stuff he posts that's not KISS related. It's food. I have this, I cook, and I do this, or I paint, or it just, that's not all about KISS. And Gene's the same way. Gene's got all of his other stuff going on, which is great. I mean, that's awesome and wonderful, and I'm glad he's doing it. But I think that will help. I think those guys get on with this to where it can be, they can do the end of the road thing and can do some one-off stuff, and they don't have to just try to keep the machine alive, putting out something that is
and
just
the machine's
not
going to
a shell of itself.
Anyway.
The machine's going to stay alive. You're exactly right. I mean,
listen, it's 2018 and there's still Jimi Hendrix stuff coming on. Yeah. So KISS have 40 extra years of career. There's going to be KISS stuff coming out that our kids haven't are going to be able to buy.
You don't think that they have stored some of this shit away? I mean, they keep saying, "Well, no, it's not there. It's there. It's shelved. It's going to be brought out at some point." But the thing is, I hope Gene keeps up what he's doing though. This Gene Simmons band thing and going around doing his little thing. I love that. Gene sounds as good as he did 40 years ago. I mean, he sounds great. and he's got these young guys now with him. These guys from Nashville who are just out there busting their fucking balls. I mean, and sounding great. And we're friends with all those guys. And I tell you what, I'm so glad to see them out there doing this. And I hope that after this Kiss thing is done, I hope they can keep doing that. I mean, it should happen.
Yeah, it should. And
actually,
and I would love to see Gene get an opening slot, like on a Maiden tour or something, and really bring it to that next level, because it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and who knows, maybe we'll get a live CD from them or something. Anyway, it's great. And here's what I'll say to that too. On the end of the road tour, I would like to see Gene step up and get a few more vocal shots and spots in there, because a lot of great songs. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I think to that point, I mean, I think the only way for that to work and work for that long a period of time is there's got to be some relief off Paul. There's no possible way he could do something for 3 years. It's not, and I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just it's not possible. It's not humanly possible. And they're going to have to share some of that stuff. And Eric Singer is a great singer. There's no reason why he couldn't pick up some of that stuff. Yeah. Because we know that, when you get to the arena and the music's loud as hell, you can barely understand the vocals 90% of the time anyway. And whether it's Paul singing it or Eric singing it, who the hell cares? I mean, really. I mean, for some stuff. I would rather hear him be really, really great at 5 songs than him be great at 5 songs and really shitty at 10 more songs. I'm
curious to see what the tour is going to look like, because as we speak, I haven't heard of any opening acts, no rumors, and I've checked with a bunch of people. I say, hey, are you on the tour?
Here's what I want. I want the opening
evening with.
What's that?
I want an evening with, where they start off.
Here's what I want. First thing I want Bruce Kulick, Bob Kulick, Brent Fitz, and Todd Kearns, Tall Stanley, doing all the stuff from the 80s. All right. Next, you're going to have Ace Frehley come out with the guys from 4x8. And they're going to do all the stuff from the Comets. Plus, they can do some of Ace's new stuff. Maybe throw a couple of the stuff in from 4x8. Then do Kiss, do their show. Then at the very end of the night, they bring all the guys who were originally in the band to do Rock and Roll All Night. And at the very last show, bring Peter back. There you go.
See, you forgot in all of that you were going to have a Peter, Chris, Eric Singer drum battle for 20 minutes in between all of that.
No, we're not.
I can't pee that long, Mitch. I mean,
you might
as I've gotten older, I actually can now. So,
but I really think Bruce has to be involved in this. I think Ace. I think bringing the Comets back, do some of that. That would be the great. Oh my gosh, we saw that in Indy. You weren't there.
That was incredible. I'm telling you,
saw that.
that reunion of the Fraley's Comet was crazy to be able to see
perfect.
that.
It wasn't perfect, but it was good. You know what I'm saying? And even Todd, I talked to Todd afterwards, and Todd's like going, "It wasn't perfect because we didn't get to practice, but it was what we expected." So
it was history.
Yeah, it was history. It was.
I'm glad it wasn't perfect. I didn't want it to be perfect.
No, nothing.
I wanted it to be I wanted it to be a regular show, and I didn't want it to be perfect. And I got exactly out of it what I wanted. It was Goosebump City, man.
Well, here's how the Fraley's Comet thing. Here's how the Fraley's Comet thing worked out for me. The first time I saw Ace Frehley solo was in 1993, and I didn't have the Trouble Walking album. I didn't realize that Todd Howarth was no longer in the band, or that John Regan wasn't there, or Anton Fig wasn't there. So when Ace Frehley comes out and there's all of these kids that I had no clue who they were, except for the bass player for White Lion. I'm like, what is the bass player for White Lion doing in the Fraley's Comet? So, here we go, 25 years later, finally getting to see what I thought I was going to see in 1993. So, I mean,
it's cool.
I've seen the Fraley's Comet that I want to see. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But of course, listen, I know a lot of folks want Ace to open and all. Do we really think there's a chance of that happening?
No,
I
it's
would
not gonna-
suggest no.
Nope.
No. It was one of those things where I said where this is where I would like it to happen. It's not going to happen that way.
Well, I don't think. I mean, Ace isn't going to do that. He's got too much pride to really do that, and I can't imagine the amount of money. You know, you've seen the things where Ace says that he'd be glad to do the tour for the right amount of money.
Well,
whatever.
see, no, but what happened though with this cruise though? Now, Bob Kulick was talking about about the cruise. He's having some issues. So look at Mitch. He ain't getting the money that he needs to do it. So he's not going to do the tour unless he gets a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I tell you what though, that Brent Fitz and him, and Bruce and Bob and Todd, that's a great band.
That's a phenomenal band. And
that's it. I mean, I mean, that would be a great opener band because you're going to get all that 80s Kiss that you're not. Then the thing is, if they want to make this a Kiss finale, the end of the road, this is going to give you your 80s Kiss, and Paul's not going to have to do a fucking thing about it. You know what I'm saying?
they'd be a great offstage band, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Providing a little support.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but jokes aside, I mean, listen, the end of the road's going to be exciting. I'm pretty sure, and this is not based on who I've talked to, I'm pretty sure we'll have some guest spots somewhere. They're not going to have an entire tour celebrating the entire history and just completely lock people out. That doesn't make sense. And if they do, okay, well, it's their band. They can do whatever they want. I just don't think we're going to see Ace. We are going to see Bruce Kulick. Probably not going to see Peter, but
I think you'll see him in a double drum situation like it was at the.
You'll see him sing Beth at Madison Square Garden the very last night.
There you go. That's probably a really good.
If they did a Peter Chris double drum thing, maybe they'll do Peter like they did Ringo Starr when Paul McCartney had him up on stage and not Mike's kit. Well, I was watching this and you can see him hitting a cymbal and you never hear the crash or anything like that. But that's just
might be a
being
timing.
an ass.
Might be a timing issue.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I think that I agree. I think they'll all be in there at some point. It has to be that way.
Yeah.
For them to not do that is very short-sighted.
I think
And
it'll be a last.
if they really have talked about what the fans really want, they know what the fans want, and they're going to give it to them because they're not going to go out and they're going to milk the shit out of that till they can't milk it anymore.
You see, you can't give them what the fans want because the fans are going to be like, "Play The Elder in full, dudes." Like, fuck off!
Not Bill.
Not me. That shit ain't happening. I will not go
I
to
want
that.
to hear it. I want to
Play Side A of Carnival of Souls, man. Fuck off! No.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Well, I mean, I meant from the people in the band perspective. Yeah, we're going to get the same. We're going to get 20, 16 songs that we all know and know.
No, I do. I do think we're going to go a little push. You look at Paul's solo tours of 2009 and before, and you look at what Gene's doing and the fan reaction. I think we're going to get a few extra songs that we don't normally get. I do believe that a Charisma or a Tomorrow or something funky is going to come out because I think they realize and I think they know that the fans coming to this are not just the fair weather fans.
Sure.
There's a lot of diehards coming to say goodbye, and they want to. Anyway, I do think we're going to get an evening with Kiss. Again, not based on any facts or anything, but I'm not hearing anything about opening bands. And that, in the position I'm in, that's very weird, knowing that the tour starts in a couple of months, that there's just no rumor mill on opening bands. And so either they've shut down the rumor mill super tight, which is exceptionally hard to do.
I can't believe that. Nowadays with how the internet.
Guns N' Roses did it.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses shut down that rumor mill really tight.
Huh.
So it's doable.
You know what I'd like to see though, if they're not going to do, like I said, our dream thing where we want to see all this, Bob Kulick and Bruce Kulick on shit. Cheap Trick.
No.
You wouldn't want to see Cheap Trick?
Hell no.
Nope.
No, no.
Cheap Trick, Alice Cooper, Kiss, triple bill. There you go.
Foo
Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
What's
No.
wrong with Cheap Trick?
I'm just, I've seen Cheap Trick three times in the last 2 years.
But they were Rush.
Stop. It was just boring. I've been a Cheap Trick fan. I've seen him over the years, and seeing him 3 times in the last 2 years it was boring.
I've got it. King Diamond.
Well, that could be interesting. No, but should they do a double bill, sort of like the Journey Def Leppard thing, and do some kind of, knowing that they would close every night, but should they go get?
No.
And I'm trying to think who would be in that position. That like Poison, should it be like Poison and Kiss?
I tell you, that Kiss and Poison show that I saw back whatever year that
2004
was a really good tour.
Let's get Rat because Stephen Pearcy's on Rat. I don't know. Stephen Pearcy's on his. Stephen Pearcy's on his.
I'm not even talking about that.
You'll be happy to know that since we've been on the phone, Pearcy actually texted me.
No shit.
Is he okay?
Sober?
Is he sober enough to text? That's good.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Is he okay? Seriously though, okay. I mean, I worry about him. Like I said, and when I posted that the other night, I said, "Look, strike 2. Somebody help the guy. I don't want him to be another Janie Lane. I mean, I know he's got issues with his knees and he's taking medications, but you know what? I just saw us 3 saw The Star Is Born this weekend. We took our wives, collective wives, to this movie. Did you see it yet, Mitch?
No, I haven't gone to a movie in a cinema in years.
Oh my gosh,
we're all dialed up with streaming and pay-per-view and all that. So no, I don't see any of that.
You got to go see The Star Is Born.
The Star Is Born?
Yeah, it's the fourth make of this. Lady Gaga and what's the guy's name?
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper. Mm-hmm. You guys, real quick, what do you think?
Sucked. No, I'm
horrible. I don't know why.
I really liked the movie. I had never seen any of the other versions of the movie, so I didn't know what to expect. But overall, I really enjoyed it.
Bill.
Well, when it gets.
Go ahead, Mitch.
Well, I was just going to say, when it gets to pay-per-view or the movie channels or Netflix, I'll watch it. I don't know how much it costs in the States, but the local cinema here for a new movie is $13. And if you go see the Ultra, whatever, IMAX version, it's like $18, and then popcorn and stuff. I mean,
it's
the last movie I saw a Marvel movie with my kids about 2 years ago, and we were 4 people. And by the time I was done with popcorn and tickets, I was at $93. And I just looked at my Netflix and I went, wait, I can get like 2 years of Netflix at this fucking price. So I said, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
And like in the States, we've got Acorn TV and there's a Hulu and this. I've got so much streaming stuff, Amazon Prime, that
right.
I'd rather invest my money there and sit comfortably here.
Bill, what do you think of it real quick?
I thought it was really good. Actually, we watched the 1976 version with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson last night after we saw it on Saturday, and the new movie is so much better than that one.
Had you seen that one before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I watched that one 100 times because Kelly loves it. I actually watched not the original, the second one that was from 1950 something with
my Lord.
It's been
the
remade
very first version came out in 1932
or 32, and then this one with Judy Garland and who was the guy? I don't even know who the guy was.
Yeah, I don't know.
What we really need is a Kiss Meets the Phantom remake.
That's exactly what we need.
Spectacular.
My own
point. Not a remake, a part 2 where they're like, saving sharks or something. Something in the water. No, they should be on a boat.
They should be in Sharknado.
Sharknado. There you go.
Yeah.
Kissnado.
Right. Kissnado, and they should film it on the cruise where sharks are swirling off.
There's a Sharknado at the Kiss cruise. That would be the greatest shit ever.
That would be spectacular. And of course they invite Vinny and Peter and all that, and the sharks only eat them. That would be spectacular.
Well, the shark that ate Vinny would probably get sick and die.
Ouch. Possibly though.
He is a shredder now. Remember that. He went from a
acoustic
guy.
He's shredding. Hey, the only thing that dude's shredding is pork, dude. He's not shredding anything else.
I do want to see that. I want to see video from that first night of the shred night, because I'm telling you what, I've seen him play acoustic twice live, and he's fucking horrible.
Well, there is the pre-Kiss Cruise party that he's playing at with 4x8, where he's supposed to be plugged in. So that will be interesting.
And I'm gonna call Todd and actually just say, make sure that son of a bitch is plugged in, and I want you to shut down whenever he's playing. I don't want to hear what he's saying. Don't cover him up. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah, just go. Let the band go silent and let him take a
let him kick ass.
Yeah,
it just got disaster written all over it. Yeah, I mean there's just man.
I personally take it as a tryout where if this goes well and those two shows go well, I think that means he gets invited to the final Kiss tour. Now, again, not speaking on any knowledge or anything. It's just a fan talk here going, I think if he passes the audition, you might get a call that says, okay, come to the Tennessee Coliseum and fucking do 2 songs and let the fans go, yeah.
Yeah,
even after posting or applying for the Vinnie Vince's Kiss, you think that's going to happen?
Yeah. I think where tickets need to be sold and headlines need to be made, it surpasses all that stuff.
And that may have a lot to do with who gets invited to what shows and when they get invited, because it could be that, if you think about the vault stuff was going along and went okay and was selling periodically and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it was Ace Frehley's appearing. Oh, okay. Well, now I probably need to buy a vault or something.
I was let down that Vinny was at my vault experience.
Yeah, you should have been.
My vault right there. I was fucking let down that Vinny was there. I just seen him in fucking earlier that month or earlier, about 2 months earlier.
January.
So you actually got the vault?
Yes, I did. I bought it. My wife bought it for me. Yes.
Oh yeah, not my wife. What did she do for me today? My
wife buys all my.
She lets you live in her house.
Actually,
pretty much.
I mentioned the other day I want a camper amp, and she said, "Just buy it. I'll get it for you." I'm like going,
wow.
Camper amps are $2,600. She says, "Just go ahead and get it. Whatever you want."
Yeah, I'll take call this week, and I'll take care of that for you.
What? Oh my!
So have you listened to the CDs in there? Have you listened to the music all the way through every single song?
I have listened to about 6 of the 11, probably 6 or 7.
And did you stop because you couldn't take it anymore, or because you actually had something to do?
No, I had something to do. Actually, Mitch, to be honest, honestly, I have.
Are you being honest? I'm not sure.
No, because I went on a show here recently with some friends of ours through the was it who was it that did that? It was Jody and them. Anyway,
there's 150 songs on there. I mean, honestly, how many would you put in your iPhone to drive around with? I mean,
okay, probably maybe 20. But there was what I liked about it is, and here's the thing about it, Mitch, is I've never been like Alan or other people. I've never been a collector of demos.
Right.
So I never heard any demo other than whatever, was put out here in the last couple of years. So a lot of the
sonically,
stuff,
do they stand up? I mean, is it like listening to?
But see, I have demos. I make demos. I have this little machine over here. I make demos.
Right.
They sound like shit sometimes. But hearing that Gene Simmons made them, and they were, I know some of the people who, met some of the people who made them with him, it's kind of cool. I mean, they're not perfect. Yeah, I agree with that. There's some actually really fucking good songs that Gene's wrote that never got on the Kiss material that should have been on Kiss material. And hearing these is like going, God damn it. It's like, what the fuck was he not, what? He should have put
Why was he saving these? Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and the whole thing for me was the fact of that, and I met Gene at the, I went to 2 of the original, two of the actual, Kiss, official Kiss conventions.
Right.
And I met him, but it was like one of those situations as a group, it's basically like a big clusterfuck where you're just kind of handing him in, he's doing this shit. I went there and he actually met me one-on-one. And he actually talked.
That was a great show, by the way.
What's that?
One-on-one.
Yeah.
Come on.
But the whole point
I see what you did there.
But the whole point was, he's talking to me, and then we start talking about stuff. I got him a little bit emotional and stuff. But the thing was, it was, and in as soon as we left, my wife, we started walking away. We were getting stuff, and the guy was going to help me put my shit in my car. My wife walks up to me, and she goes, "I knew you were going to get all teared up." She knew, because she knew that it meant that much to me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it was, whatever, I don't care what it cost. It's one of those things where, to me, personally, it meant a lot to me. I don't care about the fucking CDs. I don't care about what was in there. The doll's never been taken out of the plastic. It's still in there. Right. I don't care about that. It was the whole point of the whole experience. And the CDs, to me, like I said, I'm a person who never listened to any of the demos. So for me, it was just
all new stuff.
I was like, I was loving it. So even the shittiest song that you think it is, it's like going, well, that's something I've never heard before. Now it may get shitty.
Well, I haven't heard any of them. I just heard. I saw a few fans there going, "Oh, there's one good CD and 10." That's what I've seen. I can't even comment from a place of no.
The one that they written, and the thing is something that was new is the ones with the Japanese. They did with the Japanese girls.
Yeah.
When they released with Paul.
Yeah.
They should have released Jeans. Oh my God, it's so much better.
Is it the same song with different?
No, it's a different song, and it's just like better. 10 times better.
Yeah.
I don't know who made that decision. Well, I know who made that decision. But...
Yes, you do. You know who made that decision.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing.
So, Mitch, you had, let's see. So today you ripped off, who all on the show today? You had, well, you didn't rip them off.
I started with Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses.
Right.
And then immediately after, there was Alice Cooper, which was fantastic. And he phoned early, so luckily I'd hung up on Gilby, because otherwise it would have been like, oh, well, this is uncomfortable. But anyway. Who'd I have after that? I had Richard Lloyd, who played in the punk band Television.
Right.
A lot of great story, because they did the whole CBGB thing with Talking Heads and Blondie and Ramones, and so there's a certain historical importance there. Who was after Richard? Oh, it was Dennis Dunaway from the Alice Cooper group. So I bookended Richard with Alice Cooper people, and then I had Life Is Just a Fantasy with Alda Nova, and then this. So
yeah.
Obviously, I kept the best for first.
That's why we love you.
but it was an interesting day, because it is Canadian Thanksgiving. So I had the whole day off, and there was just nothing going on. And I knew there was going to be no business meetings, no this, no that. Didn't have to deal with the post office, nothing. So I just put them all in, because I really want to just sort of take the next week or two off. And now I have enough shows to go through like mid-November. So I'm just like, and I've got Charlie Benente in the can, and Carmen Appice, or Appice, however he says it. Marty Friedman is done. Pete Agnew from Nazareth is done. It's like there's a whole Jeff Pilson of Foreigner Dog. I've got this whole slew.
Cool.
And so now I'm trying to figure out where am I going to put who, and we'll see. Hey,
it's a horrible problem to have, Mitch.
It is a horrible problem.
Because I really don't want to run 3 interviews per show. I would like to keep it to 2, but I just have so many that I have no choice. And it would be nice maybe if I could do 3 episodes a week rather than I wouldn't mind at all doing 1 episode a day with 1 interview of 20-25 minutes. And just you tune in and you hear one story, because it is a lot for the listeners to listen to. And I'm glad that people actually hang out and listen to the shows. And I get a lot of people saying, hey, man, I had to drive from Indiana to Milwaukee, or I had to go from New York to Sarasota. And I put 2 or 3 of your episodes together, and it got but I do appreciate that a lot more folks might listen if it was like, hey, Monday night, Mitch has got Alice Cooper on.
Yeah.
But, that's not what the contract
is. That because of, is that a contract issue? So you only have one slot per week?
Well, yeah, and I wouldn't call it an issue. It's just that's what I signed the dotted line. They said they want 1 hour a week, And that's what I saw. I could have gone back to them and said, no, I'd like to make it 2. There's no, you can't, but currently it says 1 hour. And listen, I give them 2.5 hours, 3-hour episodes. So I'm doing more than I should, but they do want to, and listen, it's not them. Whether it's NBC or Monday Night Football or when, Seinfeld was on, there's a time slot, and they want you to be in that time slot so that people know that on that day at that time they can find a new episode. That's totally logical. And so people know Monday morning you get new Mitch for Monday for Mitch, which is fine. Makes sense. Cool. Which is why I don't drop episodes on a Thursday because, that Paul Stanley interview, I had done it before Rolling Stone released theirs, and I could have edited it up and gotten it out, and I would have had all the headlines. Rolling Stone happened to release theirs before my Monday episode, and they got all the headlines. But that's the game too, right? That's how it's played.
That's what it is.
Okay. I can't complain.
No,
People are listening to the Paul Stanley one. They love it, and I just had Slash on, and that was interesting because. He was promoting the what's that? I can't see what that was.
What was that?
Your screen.
Nobody
froze
could
up,
see
Dennis.
that.
No.
Your screen froze up, Dennis.
Whenever Mitch is done, I have a thing for him. I'm gonna ask him a question.
Go ahead. Well, in fact, let's start wrapping this up because I have been on the phone.
All right. So anyway,
I was trying to go there.
I went to a yard sale.
Yep.
A friend down on my street. I went down there and she didn't have anything I liked, and she goes, "Oh, you want some Kiss stuff?" And I went, "Okay." So she said, "Here." So she had this.
Ooh, I remember that.
I remember. That's what I'm saying. I had all these.
Oh, I had that Phantom one. Put it back towards the camera. I remember that. In fact, I think I still have that.
Yeah, I think I do too. So at some point. Okay. Kiss.
I used to have that.
That looks familiar. I think I've seen that on. Is that Guitar World or Guitar?
Yes, it's Guitar World. It has the.
Right. That's the reunion tour one.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
14. I have to look at it. Anyway,
I think I might have that. Okay. We're such geeks.
Some of these, they're coming apart.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, some of
from
this
79, 80. That's sweet.
Yeah. Who's the king? That tells you. I mean, how old it is.
Who's the king? Let me think.
Then we have this. And we have this one.
Ooh, like from Germany.
I used to have that one.
It's Cream, actually. Cream Special Edition. Here's one that doesn't have a cover, but just got all the pictures, and it's still, whatever it is, it's fucking cool. Grooves. Oh,
I remember Grooves. That they only had. They didn't. I actually subscribed to Grooves, and they sent the check back, and they said we're going out of. We're stopped publishing. I was like, oh, come on, man. So then I think I subscribed to like Hit Parade or some shit.
Different thing of the thing. Here's
Circus.
No, it's TV Superstar. So anyway, she had all these magazines. She had all these magazines, and then plus this one here that I don't. What the hell I do with it? Anyway, it's gone. It's a Kerrang, but it has like nothing but Kiss. But on top of those magazines, she had this.
Ooh, the Dynasty Tour book. I have one.
But it's
I actually stuck it on my wall and
so it's a little bit
nailed through it.
So it's a little bit.
It's
got a dent in it. Unfortunately, the whole top part of it's dented.
You can flatten that out, dude.
But the whole thing is, I have Lynn's
Just
book
iron it.
has all these on there, and then of course she had this tour book. 70. It's not the greatest one, the greatest shape, but it's still a nice shape.
I bought that.
Mitch, what did I get for this whole lot of Kiss stuff?
How much that cost you?
Yeah, how much it cost me?
Well, obviously a non-fan sold it because fans don't sell that shit. So probably like $6.
Okay.
$5. So I went.
Yeah, she's an idiot.
I was on. No. Julie's not. It's one of those things where she didn't. It is what it is. I mean, it didn't mean shit.
What you need to do is be very, very smart about this. Sell all that shit on eBay for about $1,000, and then show her the new riding lawnmower you bought that she could have had, And then
Well,
just laugh at her constantly. That's the way to do it.
she just got a divorce, number one. So it's probably not even her.
Even better.
But these books have been cut. Like I think all the poles have been cut out. There's some of them where there's like this silhouette of like this, and I'm like thinking, well, Paul was probably in that spot, and she probably cut it out.
Oh, it's on the other side. It's the Leaf Garretts that were cut out.
That's exactly right.
But the two tour books, I was like, oh my god, and it was like on $5. So I was like, being me, I'm like going, oh shit, I just got done mowing. I got shit. I ran down to the house real quick on my golf cart. I went to my son. I was like going, dude, you got $5?
Yeah. Think what I've got. Oh, hold on. This is what I've got.
What you got?
Got a little tiny bobblehead ace right by the computer.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's about an inch. It's penis size to him.
Look at Alan. Alan like shocked me.
Oh, geez.
Shock me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Alan
gets all these. Oh, I sold all mine.
That's good.
At a.
I got a lot of bobbleheads here. I've also got that Kiss right over here. That Kiss Road Crew that they put out in 2009. Every single show. That
What's the thing about Target's got these new Kiss dolls, and they said it's the worst Paul Stanley ever.
No.
You got. He's gonna pull it out.
All right.
No, that's not that.
Look at that.
Hello, Kitty.
While we're talking about Kiss,
There's a lot of ace. There's a lot of ace shit around here. There's an ace thing up on the wall up there. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, good.
Oh wait, can you see the ace?
I got one
That's
of
pretty
these.
cool though. That poster's pretty cool.
Where's the fucking ace? You can't see the ace. There's the ace.
Oh, a silhouette. I got you.
There's the
Yeah,
ace.
love, man.
There's the ace, and of course, well, that's not a poster. That's a calendar. That's the 2018 calendar.
Got the ace.
Wow, I didn't see that one.
This is like Spencer's shit here.
God, so were you Spencer and shit here?
Well, my mom bought. Oh, what is it, Alan? Alan's got a surprise envelope.
He's got an envelope.
No.
I'm taking envelope number 2. This is like
got a mystery envelope in the mail today.
I forgot. He got this in the mail today. It's a mystery envelope.
It's only a mystery to you guys because I know what it is.
Are you going to share with us, or do you want me to share mine first?
It came from Keith LaRue.
Ooh.
What
I got nothing. I got nothing.
It's a little packet here.
Oh, you bought the picks?
I bought the. Well, you didn't. You don't buy the picks.
Well, no, but you
donate
made
to
the
You made a donation for 10. That's kind of cool.
I made the donation, so got a little Gene Simmons pick there.
I meant to do that. Is that still going on? I got to do that.
I don't know if it is or not.
I got a Brent Fitz Toke pick.
Oh, I would love to have one of those. There's
Brent's one of the coolest dudes.
Tommy Thayer. I'm not done yet, Dennis. Slow down.
I know.
And as a good Canadian, I've got Honeymoon Suite.
Paul Stanley. Honeymoon Suite. I would like to have that pick too.
I don't know why I have all these picks flying here.
And finally, the Catman.
Awesome.
Eric Singer.
Dude, we were interviewing.
Like an early episode of Three Sides of the Coin where we just share all the stuff we bought at Spencer's. This is.
I was going to bring that up, but
we've got better looking hosts. That's.
we
got the good one.
No, we had Brent at the Indianapolis Kiss Expo. He was sitting down and he wanted to get rid of his gum, so he put it on a piece of cardboard because he was like, I can't be chewing gum while I'm doing my interview. So he puts it in there, and then we just took it around. I was like going, and I come back around and I go, hey Brent, I said, I just put your
gum on sale
on eBay. He goes, really?
Okay, this is what I got.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And it came out of one of those crane machines.
Oh, he's gonna keep going with our Kiss calls.
Yeah,
mine's
mine's bigger than yours is.
I don't have any of that. Oh shit.
That's what Gene said to Paul.
I got Bud Man Salt and Shaker shit.
Now we're grasping at straws, and this seems like a good place.
Where can we find you, man?
Yeah.
Do your shameless plugging.
Well, it ain't actually shameless. I'm very proud of the plug. No,
you should.
Listen, you can find the what's the word I always use? The mighty. That's what I say. Can find the mighty Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon on Westwood 1 There is the Westwood One page on the internet. Of course, you can Google that. There is the Westwood One app. It is on Apple Podcasts. It is on Spotify now. What else? Amazon, Alexa. Wherever you get great entertainment, you can find this show by accident. Mitch Lafon, Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. See? There you go. It's a fabulous, fabulous thing. And who knows, maybe someday when some site has a competition of podcast versus podcast, I can get past the second round.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just going to point
Because
out
that wasn't rigged.
I was just going to point out that we were obviously knocked out in the second round. We were beat by the Rock and Metal, or is it Rock and Metal?
Rock and Metal
Combat.
Rock and Metal Combat podcast, which that in itself was totally entertaining because there was one listener
I was beat by a
that was
squirrel.
just poking the bear and poking the bear, poking the bear.
You were beat by a squirrel?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know what that was
It was entertaining because it was supposed to be this sort of vote for the favorite kind of thing. And of course, the person running it kept saying, "Hey, Mitch is in the lead. You should vote for this other podcast." And it's just like, well, that's not how you run these things. You're not supposed to goat people, you stupid.
Well, and then we found out later that you can actually see who's voting. I thought it was like basically a generic voting where it was just like, X amount of votes against X amount of votes. Then a friend told me, it's like going, oh, you can actually see who voted for who. I'm like,
I know.
Really?
As soon as I figured that out, I stopped voting.
I did too. I'm done.
Oh, I don't care. But a couple of shows that I voted against, because listen, Chris Jericho was there, so I had to vote against.
So I did.
Of course. Of course I did. Of course I did. But listen, I don't have to vote for Chris Jericho, but I wanted to. Talking Metal with Mark Striegel, of course, I had to vote too. I voted for myself, obviously.
Right.
Who else did I? But I voted for people that were friends and have good shows, and I had some of the people I didn't vote for email me these angry letters. How dare you? Why do you think we suck? I'm like, oh, get the fuck over yourself. It's not that
honestly, I think that people being able to see who voted for who,
that's what
it created a bunch of animosity.
Yeah,
it did.
Well,
I got it. I got those letters, and I was like, wait a minute. Your fucking leader voted against me, so why wouldn't I vote against you, you stupid ass? Like,
I had a guy that actually the same deal. They said, he called me out, personal message me, said, well, I see you're voting. I said, look, I'm voting for all the underdogs because I want them to not lose so bad. Well, I can see that. And then now I get an email saying that vote for me, and I'm like going, wait a minute. You're going
Mitch, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to us, Mitch, is some guy posted on
this
one
guy.
Of those. Some guy posted on these two people that were competing against each other and got the wrong podcast and turned it into a shit show.
Yeah.
Turned into
an absolute battle, which is ridiculous. So there we go. Let's move on from that.
There's people are threatening each other and they're fucking gonna beat each other up. It's like a battle of the bands. They never go good. A battle of the bands just makes people mad at each other. Period.
Well, I had nothing against the principle of the whole thing, but if you're the host of it or you're the one who's if Rolling Stone or if Blabbermouth holds a contest of battles of the bands, they don't go on to their sites and start saying you should vote for this band against that. Like that was just ridiculous. And so the best way to deal with it was just to not post about it and just ignore it. And it's like, well, if you're going to encourage other people to vote against me, then why am I going to publicize you? If I don't publicize you or if Eddie Trunk doesn't nobody's going to know you exist. So next time, think a little before you start bashing people and telling you should vote against that. It was silly. There was no reason to do that.
And the thing is, like I say, Mitch, it was silly. And then the whole thing is nobody won nothing. Nobody got anything out of it. It just stirred a bunch of shit up and made a lot of people mad. That's all it did, really.
Yeah. And
no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
And listen,
the funniest thing is, and this is just for me personally, one of my favorite listeners of our podcast sent me a text message today because he listened to another one of the podcasts, and he told me that I should tell somebody to eat a dick. So He's like, you were just too nice a guy. He's like, you should tell that guy to eat a dick.
The best way to move forward with that was put up an interview with Paul Stanley, put up an interview with Slash, put up an interview with Alice Cooper, and go, you know what? I didn't win, shithole.com's poll, but guess what?
Hey, that's it, man. Take it.
That's great. Let's take it.
You got to take it to the house right there.
Doing pretty good, right?
There.
And listen, the guy who organized it, I love him. He's a great guy. I've been on his own show. Nothing against him, but it was run in a very sleazy kind of. We're gonna promote my little network of friends by bashing everybody else and having them lose. And as soon as you see Eddie Trunk and Chris Jericho and even me get knocked out right away, you go, yeah, all right, fuck off. Sorry,
nothing wrong with that.
That's yep.
Man, thanks for
Eddie should have won that. Come on. Based on numbers and talent, Eddie. Well, not maybe, but Eddie should have won that. He is the leader of. Well, no,
but Eddie talks about.
We know what you're saying.
No, but let me qualify that. And it sounds like I'm putting down Eddie. No, there's a lot of people that are very talented that have small shows. You guys are talented. I'm talented. So it's not a question of talent why you should win, but the way we've affected the rock world, he's a leader. How does that not get respected with more? I mean, it's ridiculous.
We give him shit, but he has. But
listen,
he talks about himself a lot too, though. That's what we always joke about.
We all do. Every one of it. We all do.
But I don't matter.
No,
listen back to the show.
Yeah. Even in my interviews, sometimes I'll say, "Hey, I saw you at a show," and even on the Paul Stanley one, I listened back and I cringed a couple of times. I was like, it sounded a little fanboy to me. I went, "Hey, I saw 11 reunion shows," and it's like, why did you say that? Why did you say that?
Because you did, and you're a fan. I mean,
I know, but
don't hate yourself for being a fanboy. There should
be a disconnect between a professional interview and being, but it's okay.
But it's Paul Stanley. you get a pass.
That's how I justified it. Yeah, but we all do that, and I've been doing that a lot in the last few interviews, almost on purpose, even though it's not on purpose. But I was talking to Alice Cooper today, and I was going, "Hey, I saw you on Saturday. You were awesome."
That's what I would do. I'm like going, man.
Yeah.
Do you remember me? Do you remember me sitting there? We met. Do you not remember that?
I was the guy going, woo, woo.
Anyway, but I'll end on this because he had the greatest line. I saw him on Saturday, and I said, Alice, you're my interview on Monday, and he goes, "Oh, that means I've got to come up with a whole bunch of new lies."
That's funny.
I love that.
There you go. That's a good one.
There you go. Thank you, sir. And I am going to go watch my Washington Redskins do something that's hopefully not embarrassing.
Well, thank you.
Who are they playing tonight?
Thank you.
The Saints. Fuck the Saints.
There you go. And we're out of here.
All right, folks. Catch us on agesofrock.com. Find all of our social media links to that. Social media, Facebook, Twitter. I'm going to get rid of our Instagram because we never use it. I've been threatening to get rid of it for like 6 months.
And just Google Mitch Lafon.
Google Mitch Lafon. Yeah. Also, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, all that other bullshit. Till next week. Peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.